Hey everybody, it's Dina Rico with the Creativity Cave. I have a great project to share with you today, and I just love how fun it turned out. And I have to tell you, the inspiration for this card actually came from one I posted earlier this week, a card that I'm like hopelessly, ridiculously over the top forever in love with, and that's this card. You might have caught the video I did on this one. I posted this, I think, on Wednesday. And so I loved the concept of this, but I wanted to try it with a little different twist. So this is what I came up with. And of course, this weekend, I was working on some cards for my oh my gosh, for my brain. Goodness, no, that's not really what it is. For my, here it is, Sealed with Love class. Sealed with Love. Oh, goodness, I hate when that happens. Okay, so I have an online class coming up with the with Love stamp set, and I used that bundle to make this card. And actually, here's the inside of it, which I think turned out super cute. You can see I have some Wink of Stella with some shimmer. I love these hearts because they're dimensional, and if you have watched any of my videos, you know I love dimension. And then I found a really cute sentiment. This is actually from Lift, I think it's a set called Lift Me Up, the one with the hot air balloons. So anyway, here's the card. Let me show you how to put it together because it's really simple. It's just takes a few minutes to do the die cutting. So I die cut 4 large and 4 small hearts, each in these colors. And by the way, all the details for this is on my blog, including the dimensions and everything. But they are Pink Pirouette, Fleur de Flamingo, Melon Mambo, and Rich Razzleberry. And then I am starting with a nice basic gray card, which is a good neutral color. And I'm just going to use my bone folder to get a nice crease in here. And then I also have used this, and do you see the shimmer in that? There is just a little bit. It's kind of, I don't know what it is. It's just a little shimmer. This is from the Neutrals Designer Series paper stack, and these are in the neutral colors, which you know there are 8 of those neutral colors, and then 2 of them are white and vanilla, and they couldn't really make white and vanilla printed paper, so what they did is they did gold and silver as an addition to make all of those colors. It's awesome. And so this is actually the silver one. So can you tell that there's a shimmer? I think you can kind of see that. So anyway, I'm just going to adhere that together. Of course, I could use the polka dot side. In fact, maybe we should use the polka dot side, and then we can decide which one we like better. I love doing that. Okay. You know, a girl needs to compare and contrast. She needs options. I fully believe that. Speaking of options, I think this card would certainly work as things other than a Valentine's card, because it's Valentine's. Happy Valentine's Day. I think it could be an anniversary card. It could be even a birthday card, because, I mean, it's always nice to be loved, right? An anniversary, a birthday, just sending love to a friend. Maybe you have a friend who needs a little love going on. I know sometimes when you have a rough day, a rough week, a rough year, let's be honest, it's nice to get a love note, even from a friend. So I don't think that this stuff is necessarily totally for Valentine's Day. I like the idea of using it for other stuff. Now, of course, what is more loving than a wedding? So that's another option. So any of these would certainly work. And I also think you could totally change up the colors of the hearts. So those are some of the options. Now, what I did is like I said, I cut one of each sized heart in each of the colors. So let's make sure, let's make sure we have all of our pieces here. They seem to be, here's one. Or maybe I do. I have them all. It's all right. It's all good. They're right there. You know, right in front of my face, just where they belong. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and adhere this to my card as well, my layer. So I just put it on a little peak of white sticking out. I like having that little extra layer there. Then what I'm going to do is go ahead and kind of position these where I want them. One tip is set these hearts on something flat, you know, like your work surface. And then kind of peek up. By the way, could you hear that? My husband was sneezing upstairs. He's a loud sneezer. I just got to tell you, it's kind of funny. My sister comments on it. He coughs loud too, which is annoying when he's sick. I'll leave it at that. So I'm still giggling. I'm dying to know if you could hear that in the video, especially since I mentioned it. Oh, and I'm not going to reshoot this video because of that comment. Oh, I kill myself sometimes. All right. I also cut, as you can see, there's 2 arrows in the framelits that go with the stamp set, and I cut one of them with some silver glimmer paper for a little shine. So we've got lots of sparkly, shiny stuff on this. Okay, now to put this together, I have a little tip for you on using these hearts. Now, one thing I thought of, and you might really laugh at me because this is so me, but I glued everything down, and then I was like, oh, I got to add my arrows, you know? And so I went to try and stick the arrow underneath the heart so it would go like this, except I had already glued it down, so you can't really stick it under there if you've already glued it. Oops. All right, so this time I am going to stick it below, and here, this is another compare and contrast, so you can tell me if you like this part better this way or the other way. Now, the other thing I found the arrow is delightful for is covering up any die cutting mishaps you might have had. Notice, now this is getting pretty picky, this teensy little nick in the die cut. I cut it too tight to the edge of my cardstock or whatever. So this kind of hides that, which is sort of awesome because, of course, stamping is so much about hiding your issues, shall we say. Okay, now, so what I like to do is position everything on here in a pleasing manner so that I'm happy with the looks of it all before I go ahead and commit to it with adhesive. And I do overlap these just a little bit here and there, partially so they'll fit, but also so they'll look nice. And I think it's cute. Okay, so I've kind of got that. That looks good, roughly. Okay, for the little hearts, I used glue dots, and for the big hearts, and this was actually the tip I meant to say before I started talking about that arrow, I just put adhesive on the spine of the heart, just a little bit. You can see I don't need a whole lot, and then that is really good at adhering the heart, but allowing you to have that dimension, because Dina likes her dimension. Okay. And then what I actually did later is I came back. Oops, this was supposed to be a glue dot. Oh, well, I can't even remember my own system. I only use glue dots because it's easier, you know. You kind of can sort of get a little better hold on things with a glue dot. Glue can be a little messy sometimes, which if it's messy, I often say that you're probably using too much, but because we're gluing really teeny areas, that also can play into it a little bit as well. All right, so then we've got this one, and then here we have our adorable, oops, I'm sorry, I'm gluing that off camera, I didn't realize. We've got our adorable arrow. I really like it. Now, the other thing is when I glued, I'm going to kind of, there we go. This one I need a little convincing to do because it's got that arrow in there and that kind of affects things. That looks good. On my original one, to adhere the arrow, I only put adhesive on the very edge of the heart. Actually, I mean, I put it on the arrow, but it was on the heart, you know, just those teeny little edges. That's all that's holding the arrow on to that one. Okay, and then back to my card right now. We'll do the last one in Rich Razzleberry. Of course, you could do any color spectrum of hearts. And if you were making, you know, like just a sending love card, you could totally change up the colors. You could make them, you know, like shades of aqua or a rainbow or just random pastel colors, whatever you wanted. It does not matter. And it will look fantastic. Okay, so there we go. Now I also took my trusty Wink of Stella and I colored each one of the smaller hearts. I almost said flowers. Just to add a little bit more excitement to this card. Not that it's not exciting, but you know, what card is bad without a little shimmer, or what card isn't good without a little shimmer, or something like that, you know. I'm not doing good at talking through these videos today. I don't know what my problem is. I think if you caught my Facebook Live video on Thursday, I think I'm still kind of reeling from that one. That was sort of a doozy, wasn't it? If you caught it, oh my gosh, were you just laughing the whole time? I was. I still think back to the story about my dog. Anyway, we'll just leave it at that. What happens in the Facebook Live stays in the Facebook Live, except when you tell people to share it, and then they do, and then it's everywhere. All right. By the way, if you want to catch that Facebook Live video, you still can. It's on my business website, and I will, I'll put a link in the blog post that this video is in so that you can check it out because it's kind of funny. All right. We are going to stamp Love is in the Air. And again, this, I really think can go just so much further than just Valentine's Day. It can be, ooh, that is crooked. Sorry. It can be a wedding, an anniversary, a friendship, you name it, it would be any of those things. So I really like the fact that Stampin' Up! Stamps are so versatile, and you can just change things up with the change of either the sentiment or the colors on a project, which is really nice. And that's one of the things I really try to share with you too. I'm going to cut this down though. Let's see, where'd my scissors go? We'll use, these aren't really the scissors I like using for cutting paper. They're my rubber scissors, but they will do in a pinch, won't they? Okay, Love is in the Air. And then on the inside, of course, I am going to just stamp really simple stuff. I'll start with the sentiment. Again, this is from my Sealed with Love stamp set. Get some of this stuff out of the way. And then I also wanted to mention that card I referenced at the beginning. There's I have a picture of it on this blog post as well as a link to the video and everything on that one because it was kind of a good one too. Oh my gosh. I still am really proud of myself for that card. Do you ever make cards and you are just like, I can't believe I did that? This is definitely one of those cards. And I still have kind of some more ideas rolling around my head on other kind of cases, copy and share everything, or copy and selectively edit, that I want to continue to pursue. So just because I'm doing, or just because I've made it once doesn't mean I can't make it a whole bunch of other times in different ways and formats. That's the beauty of stamping, don't you find? You can be creative once and make a whole bunch of different cards. That's kind of nice too, especially if you're stuck for ideas. I really like that part of it. Okay, so one of the things that I also wanted to mention with this is, you saw how I was stamping these hearts right here on the Happy Valentine's Day. Can I just tell you, I did not clean between each because I started with the lightest color one and worked my way darker, so I didn't have to clean in between. And that is like a lazy stamper, or as my friend Whitney said, an efficient stamper. I think that's a nice way of saying lazy, but we'll take it regardless. So here you go. There is my final card. Compare it with my original card. So we switched that up a little bit, and we switched the printed paper up a little bit. So have at it, guys. Tell me which one you like better and let me know your thoughts. Thank you so much for joining me today. I always love stamping with you. I hope you'll come back soon. Check out that Facebook Live video I mentioned, because I am having a drawing for a fabulous, fabulous grand prize, which is the Succulent Garden, pretty much the suite. So you should totally check that out. And the video is kind of hysterical. So anyway, thanks so much for stamping with me today, guys. Have a great afternoon. Bye.